Yesterday, and dust is starting to settle a little bit. The season is over, as we know, for Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz. And really, of all the scenarios that could have played out this year, at the beginning of this year, is this one that anybody would have seen coming? We have a 32-year-old veteran QB who came in, led the team to 2 wins in his 5 starts, as he was kind of helping to buy some time for J.J. McCarthy to heal from that high ankle sprain. But then we saw over the course of the last couple of games at least, Wentz was playing through some really obvious pain. And then, of course, yesterday, the news nobody wanted to hear that Wentz needs shoulder surgery, and he's out for the year. So we asked a friend of the show, Coach Hedberg, Coach Randy Hedberg, to join us. Somebody who's been watching Carson's journey closely for a long time as QB coach from NDSU, now retired Coach Randy Hedberg. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us, Coach.
Well, thanks for having me, Amy. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's take us back to that Chargers game as you were watching. I'm curious, what was kind of going through your mind as that game went on, knowing Carson the way you do?
Well, as you can tell, Carson's a great competitor. He showed that through this whole process. Very tough. That was hard to watch against the Chargers because he was under constant pressure. Numerous times was hit and sacked and tried to get rid of the ball and got rid of the ball and got hit. And so it was hard to watch that game just because you knew what he's going through. And being a former quarterback myself, it's not easy going through some of those situations because you fall behind and you got to throw to catch up, and it's not easy. But he hung in there, and I guess I really didn't know, Amy, about his injury. That happened at the London game, but
yeah.
I knew he was hurting because of the heavy brace on his left shoulder, but as you could see, but that's a tough one.
Yeah, and clearly NFL, different than college, but had you seen Carson react sort of like that to injury in your time with him?
Well, he got injured. He broke a bone in his wrist, his throwing wrist. During his senior season, early in his senior season for us in 2015. And he was able to come back and play in the national championship game, but that wasn't anything like this. He had surgery at that point, but this one was one that gave him immense pain, as you could tell, and still staying in there and playing with it was pretty remarkable.
Yeah. What was it like to kind of hear, the chatter out there? We had everything from, a lot of fans were saying, get him out of there, get him. You can see he's in so much pain. And then there was at least one national commentator who made kind of made a remark about, gosh, you got to kind of suck this up. You got to suck it up because this is the NFL and you're the leader and you're the alpha. What was it like to kind of take all that in, given sort of your more personal relationship with Carson?
Amy, that was difficult on Thursday night, watching that, and then the commentators commenting on his leadership style. I hope that they'll come back and rebut themselves a little bit as far as what they said, because I think he was showing leadership by being out there, and I know his teammates knew what the pain tolerance was that he had.
Yeah.
And I think that was critical. And I would say if you asked any of his teammates that particular day, they would be 100% with Carson. And also, that'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah. Can you walk us through from kind of a coach's mindset, your QB coach, coach's mindset, and then also from a player's mindset here, 2 different tracks, but in that position as a coach, how would you have handled that? And again, there's a lot of criticism on KOC right now, and should have taken him out earlier. So that's one piece that I'm curious about your mindset there. But then as a player, have you ever seen a player say, "Yeah, coach, you got to take me out. I can't do this," or is that just a no-no in the NFL, especially?
Oh, Amy, I really think that obviously the doctors consult with the head coach, and I'm sure they consulted with Carson. Let's go to this type of injury, a concussion, for instance. If a young man gets a concussion, the doctors will step in and say, no way, he's not going to play anymore. Head-related, obviously. Shoulder-related, I don't know. That's an interesting comeback on what a doctor would do. As a coach, the player's going to make the call. At some point, you're going to have to say, we got to cut our losses and go to the next one, because we're in this to protect young people too. It's not always going to happen that way. But the National Football League is a lot different than the college game I dealt with, But
you played in the NFL too, right? As a QB, so you know.
Yeah, I played with a concussion. I know how that goes.
Yeah.
But the thing about I think one of our quarterbacks had a similar injury to Carson. We sat him down. His shoulder. He was down. He didn't play anything. He had surgery. Now he's starting quarterback for the Bison and have a great season, but a similar type injury.
At the risk of asking sort of a leading question here, but you just know him so well. One school of thought out there is that Carson really, his role in all of this has been to really buy time for a J.J. McCarthy or even a Max Brosmer. And a lot of people feel like, here's a guy who really was sacrificing his own body, really, to continue to do as much as he could despite the pain, despite the injury. How do you feel about that kind of narrative?
I don't know. That's an interesting one. Watching the game on Thursday, I thought, heck, I don't know if as a coach I would have allowed that to continue with him. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not questioning anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was the way it should have been. He was getting hit a lot, and he seemed to be in a lot of pain during the course of the game. But it was interesting how it all played out. And but in the long run, I think Carson knew that it was team. Football is the ultimate team game. I think he took that one for the Vikings.
Yeah, and finally, just knowing him again so well as you do, what do you think his mindset is right now as he's kind of going through this new normal?
Well, I think he's going to wait to have surgery till after his new baby's born.
Yeah.
And then he'll get ready to play. And I think he wants to play again. I would say he's a competitor, and he sees himself as a quarterback in the NFL and being successful at it. And I think he fared well prior to the injury, and thought he played extremely well at certain times until he got banged up in London.
Yeah, and we are all Monday morning quarterbacking this thing right now, looking back and going, wow, after everything he's going through, what he accomplished is quite really respectable and admirable. I think a lot of fans feel like. So, thank you, Coach, for joining us. Always appreciate your insight. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Okay, Amy. Thanks for having me.
All right, you bet. Thanks, Coach. Randy Hedberg. All right.